Hey guys, Heavy45 here. Now, I have kept from calling myself this sometimes, but I'm pretty sure I can say it with all confidence. I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd, geek, whatever you want to say. I like video games, I like anime, and I like sci-fi shows. I've watched a lot of them, and one thing that I was looking at in the Star Trek universe was that once you get to, I want to say it's Star Trek First Contact, that you see that the captain of Voyager, Catherine Janeway, has now turned into Admiral. And Jean-Luc Picard is still captain of the Starship Enterprise. And I was wondering when I was looking at, when in the world did she get that promotion? I mean, like, I understand she had made it back from being off in the Delta Quadrant for years, and that was a great thing. But what did she do that really brought her to being a person that they decided to make an admiral? And I had to think about that for literally a second, because I had to think about, I loved watching Voyager, and I know a lot of people disagree. I liked all the different Star Trek stories. I didn't watch the original one, but I've seen Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. I've even watched some of Discovery. And I realized, though, watching Janeway, that the reason that she probably became Admiral was because she brought back so much stuff. In her time in the Delta Quadrant, she found, like, she essentially stopped the Borg for a certain amount of time. Like, we pretty sure that the Borg are not dead, but they probably are very crippled with the loss of a couple of their computers. Like, their whole quantum, their whole warp net was basically destroyed when Voyager went through at the end of the show. And with all the stories that they came back with, because you have to think about all the stuff they worked on. They worked on a quantum warp drive. They came back with actual armor that you could basically have put onto your ship. They came back with ways of, like, stuff that, like, when we watched the not the original, but Next Generation, we find out that life would have been completely different for Picard if he would not have gotten stabbed by a I want to say it was a Klingon, and had his heart replaced, because that was one of the times where he learned how to, take caution, and basically it was this whole time of in his life where he would just, like, pushing boundaries and stuff like that. And if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for his ability to push boundaries, they would have never put him into the captain's program. But with that being said, though, Jean-Luc stayed captain of the Enterprise. So if, like, Kirk stayed captain of the Enterprise back during his time. For years, they both were captains of their respective Enterprise. And with Janeway, she came back with, going back to his heart. His heart, they were able to find ways of using Borg technology to fix basic health issues. Because you have to think about, with them being able to actually come back with 7 of 9 and all the technology that their holographic doctor came out with, they were able to create solutions for stuff they never even thought was possible because of these Borg tech they were able to create. They probably even, because we don't really get more into it once we get into the get past Next Generation, because Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager kind of happened at the same during the same years in different places of the world. So we don't know how much Borg technology advanced the Federation's technology. We don't know also how much, like, if the armor that they learned from the we don't know if the armor that they were able to create, or even some of the warp technology that they had, really went past that point. I know they have unofficial stuff like what happens in the Star Trek Online information, like the suggestion that Data is actually still alive and is captain of the Enterprise now. We have a lot of stuff outside of like movies and stuff saying what happened, but we don't know what the Borg technology did or the other stuff they did. They came back with so many different things that happened. I mean, like, this crew, out of all the Star Treks that are out there, they died more than anyone else. Like, they've dealt with clone groups. And you have to remember that Starfleet has everybody come out with reports of what they've done the whole time that they've been out. So for each day they came out, Janeway had a report of what happened, except for the time they had to take care of the Omega Directive. Everyone did a Stardate report. We had to deal with how to fix the holographic doctor. We had to deal with Taurus and Paris. Paris and Taurus having a baby. We've had people merge together. All this information that they came back with from their adventures of being out in space, just like that, probably was a great promotion to them. Because if you go back to what you see happens with Jean-Luc and James T. Kirk, and even with Cisco before his mysterious disappearance, it was a lot of, yes, they dealt with wars at times, but a lot of the stuff they did was diplomatic stuff. The whole point of Deep Space Nine was to create relations between the Bajorans and the Starfleet, which allowed the Ferengi and the Klingons and the I don't believe they had any I don't believe many Vulcans came to Deep Space Nine, but you had that, plenty of humans. So you had all these different races coming together in a diplomatic way to try and bring relations between everyone. When you get in, same thing with Picard and Kirk, they went out most of the time, and Kirk having sex with just about every female creature that he was able to find. They were able to find people who were like, they were explorers. That was literally all of them were explorers, but none of them came back with like literally any new tech except for Voyager. They came back because they had to try and survive. They were able to find information and find ways of dealing with stuff. And sure, they had to go break the Prime Directive at some points to not mess with other people. Other civilizations, but it was to help them to survive, to make it back home. And once they made it home, they had all this data they had, like alternate alternate dimensions that they had, times that they broke the time. Um, well, yeah, times that they like broke the time string, like how Harry, Kim, and Chakotay had to go back in time to save Voyager from the accident they created when they tried to use their quantum drive. Which the quantum drive and the transwarp drive were two mistakes that Voyager did. That still could be tested by Starfleet after the fact. So they constantly still had stuff that they literally could do that would make it that made to where Janeway could have actually been very essential to helping to advance the technology of Starfleet, and without having any type of, and I don't know what data Janeway had after her after the old her that died in Voyager, but I'm pretty sure that old her probably brought back more than just a couple things, because she did give them the stuff they needed to do it, so that also advanced them. Which the question would be there is, would the temporal prime directive still be essential? Because technically it was a Starfleet person who brought it to them. So would they ignore what a Starfleet officer from the future brought back for those people back then? Or would they tinker with those ideas? I feel like I'm starting to rant. I probably am ranting. But yeah, this is my quick thought on, because I didn't understand when I watched First Contact why Janeway was an admiral until I thought about it from that point of view. If you agree, go ahead and say something. Now, catch you later. Peace.